Okay, so part 4 of the slipper. We have our basic slipper there, but it's a bit plain looking at the moment. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a different colour, but you can obviously choose anything you want. And I always start at the back, so you can see where we joined the two together, and we're going in the left hand side of that join. So hook your wool through like that. I'm going to bring it a bit closer, and then you're going to do a chain but with both of your tails, which will secure it. You're then going to drop your short tail and carry on with your working wool and do another chain, and then you're going to pull your tail really tightly down, and that has now joined your wool. That's now not going anywhere. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a single stitch into each hole. But if you imagine the slipper in 3 sections, 1, 2, 3, on each of the 3 sections we're going to lose a stitch. We're going to drop a stitch just so that it will pull it in very, very slightly, which will then hold it onto your foot better. Okay, so if you can try and do it around the middle, it will just keep everything nice and even, especially on that front bit, because that's the bit that you're really going to notice. So put the hook back in, and to do a single crochet we are just going, we're not doing our wrap around, we're just going straight through, pull the wool through, there, that's a single crochet, simple as that, through and 1, through. And as you can see, I'm carrying this wool as we go, and I'm going to tuck it in. It will just save in a lot of sewing in later, which we really want to avoid. So we're just going into the top of every stitch, as you can see, as we go round. When you've done about that much, just lose your tail at the back, and you can see it's now completely tucked into your work, so we can just trim that off later. And it's about here that we're going to skip a stitch to pull it in slightly. So that would be the next natural stitch to go into, but we're actually going to go into this one here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into that one and pull the wool through, and then rather than wrapping your wool round and making a stitch, now that we've got the wool through, we're actually then just going to go straight into the next one and then pull the wool through all 3. And as you can see, it will look like a single crochet, but in fact you've caught your 2 stitches into one, and that will draw your work closer together. So then we're going to go back to just our single crochet all the way right down to the toe of the slipper. Okay, so when you reach the toe, obviously here you were going this way, and now you're working on the ends of the rows, so you're going from this one into this one here. So we're going in here, and we're going to do a single crochet again, and then all the way along the front. Now we need to look at where the middle is, so I'm going to use these 2 as the middle. So I'm going to go into this one and pull it through, but not make my stitch, into the next one. So I then have 3, and then I'm going to pull through all of them and pull it nice and tightly, and then straight back onto your single crochet into this corner. So now if you look, you can't really see that you've missed a stitch, it all looks nice and even. Okay. So again, turning the corner, so we're going into this hole here and single crocheting again all the way along. But again, somewhere down the middle, we're going to lose a stitch. So we'll do it here, pull through the next one, and pull them together. That's a stitch decrease. So carry on round. until we get to the back. Okay, and then we just need to slip stitch. This one can be quite tight. There we go. Through and into that first stitch, and then we're going to chain 2, and we're going to cut the wool, pull the wool through and pinch that knot as close to your work as you can, flip it inside out. So we've got, let's turn that right inside out and then we can have a real look. So this is the tail end that we were working through and catching as we went, so that can just be trimmed. And then this one, which is the one that you've just finished working with, what we want to do is, as we did from the bottom and up, we want to go in here and pull that one through, and just do that as you go down the seam. And it just tucks in the loose ends. It's just a cosmetic thing. Like so. And you can actually see the other end there. Trim that. Turn it back the right way. And there we have our little slipper with our contrasting edging. And if at this point you realise it's all a bit loose, then do another row in, well, whatever colour you want. And again, decrease a stitch on each of the 3 sections, and it will pull it in again and also bring the crocheting up closer so it's snugger around your foot. Quite often people will then put a flower on it, so if you look at the flower tutorial video, you can make a flower for it as well, just to decorate it up a bit. But there is your little ballerina slipper.